8:31 now. For the past decade, a couple in Hudson, Wisconsin has been crisscrossing the globe from Italy to China to Ecuador. No, this isn't a hedonistic venture. They are donating their time, and that's why they are our Global Volunteers of the Month. Joining us are Betty and Dwane Peterson. Welcome so much.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Good morning, I should say. All right, let's talk about your first trip. This was to Italy, and you worked with some students here. Tell us about these young teenage students and what they were like.
Well, we taught 13-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and they're very enthusiastic, very eager to learn. And the picture shows the 17-year-olds, and just kind of go in and be flexible and interact with the students and try to teach them how to speak English conversationally.
Okay, and Mexico was another destination. There's an interesting picture here of the landscape. You know, you see the houses kind of on the hill here. This is, whereabouts were you working?
This is Querétaro. It would be it would be actually northwest of Mexico City, about 3 hours. And we stayed in Old Town at a hotel and traveled to the university, which was maybe half an hour away. So this was some of the shots that we took on the way to the university.
And this was something that you said you found something in a publication, and you said, this is what we want to do when we retire.
Right.
It was just...
So we just called them up and they
met with them
and Global Volunteers. All right, now, Betty, I know you understand you were a retired nurse, and you had an interesting experience in the Cook Islands. And tell people where are the Cook Islands and about the experience.
Well, the Cook Islands is in the South Pacific. If you go to Hawaii and then just go into the southern hemisphere straight down, that's where the Cook Islands is. We flew into there, and they have a hospital there. So we worked in the hospital, worked in surgery, helped deliver babies.
Did you help deliver this baby?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what is their situation there? Are they, is there a lot of poverty? Were they in dire need of people working in hospitals?
Yes, yes, because they're so isolated. It's hard for them to get supplies and get people to work there. It's an island that's 38 miles around, and their hospital was actually closed for 2 years before we got there, and it had just been reopened.
So they didn't have a hospital?
They had closed it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, one of your favorite volunteer trips was in China, I understand. We've got a picture here, and this is a very large group of students. Tell us about this experience.
I think that Betty and I were both shocked the first time we walked into a classroom. We each had about 70 students, and this, I think, is Betty's class. But we didn't have a English-speaking Chinese teacher with us. We were in there by ourselves, and we.
How do you do that? You walk in and nobody speaks English, and you couldn't speak Chinese.
The students had English, but what they didn't understand is the nuances and the inflections of the English language. So, if we had trouble communicating, we would write things on the board. And their grammar was quite good, so they could understand if it was written. And then we just worked with them on pronunciation, because they'd heard it from a Chinese-speaking, English teacher.
Okay, I want to quickly get in two pictures in Costa Rica. One is in a rainforest, and I understand what you did here. Here you are just walking up some stairs. Well, they're not really stairs, I guess.
Yeah.
Walking up the hill.
It's kind of stairs that tourists would take in that area. And we hauled all the equipment up that mountain to build a tower for research on the rainforest. And also, it has 2 levels when it was completed, and that was for tourism as well.
Wow. And you said it's a beautiful place. I can't wait to be there. I'll be there in 10 days.
That'll be great for you.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
Well, Betty and Dwane, thank you so much for coming on
thank
today
you.
and sharing your experiences. And we just want to tell everybody at home, if you're interested in volunteering your vacation time, you can contact Global Volunteers by logging on to, do we have the website? globalvolunteers.org, globalvolunteers.org.